Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick Theriot, and today I have an exciting new video for you guys. Today we're going to talk about what to do when ROAS is going down and kind of taking you through my thought methodology and stuff like that, my process of how I kind of think about this. So with that being said, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That being said, let's dive into the video, guys. So the other day I had a conversation with a client. We basically, kind of saw an increase in our cost per acquisition. Main reason why is that we identified CPMs were going up, and also to our CTR was starting to go down, and our CPC was rising. And the reason why CPC was rising is because CTR is going down. CTR is the percentage of people that are clicking on your ad. So like the standard is 1%, and if you have like 0.5%, you got terrible creatives, you got 20% amazing creatives. Usually you see something fluctuate between 1%, a little bit above, a little bit below. Anyway, so I identified the fact that, hey, look, your CTR is going down, your CPMs or your CPC is going up, and the reason why your CPC is going up is because less people are clicking on your ad, so it's more expensive per click. So that's how we identified that, hey, it's a creative issue, essentially. We've been running, the audience is big enough. There's literally no other audience we can go bigger, so there's not an audience issue. There's purely a creative issue. So like, hey, we just need to launch new creatives into this account, find a new winner, then we could drop a winner in there, and then then we're good to go. So we're spending 10K a day on this particular account, so it's a lot of money we're spending on here. So like, it's important for that right there. So what to do in this particular situation, right? So the first thing is you need to identify your options. Like, don't take any actions yet. Just identify your options and you can weigh it out. Because I had the conversation with the client, like, hey, what can we do next? I'm like, okay, cool. Let's sit down. Let's take a look at the account. Okay. They're like, can we launch new audiences? I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, we can launch a new audience. We can put a new audience right now in the CBO campaign. But right now, you're running purely broad, 33 million plus people in this particular campaign right here. We could toss a new audience in there and we could see cost per acquisition actually shoot up because Facebook will start to dilute some of that spend to an unproven audience. Okay. So that's one option right there. Okay. So, hey, that new audience doesn't convert. What happens when Facebook spends a lot? Cost per acquisition is going to substantially shoot up, especially when you're spending that much money per day. So that's one option. Drop a new audience and potentially it'll work or potentially it won't. What's the downside of it don't working? Really high cost per acquisition. What's the potential if it does work? It's going to get a really great cost per acquisition. Okay. So that's one option. What about the next option? What if we drop new creatives inside of our, campaign? Okay. What if they don't work? If they don't work, we're going to see substantially high cost per acquisition. If they do work, we'll see a better cost per acquisition. To a degree, like you don't really know. They might work, but they might work at the same current level as what we're currently experiencing right now. Okay. So those are our options. Now, obviously, okay, well, what about setting up an audience testing campaign, testing audiences specifically? Yeah, that's another option right there. We could start spending on those, test those new audiences, see if they work. If they work, then we could drag and drop them into our main campaign and increase spend. Okay. About creative testing campaign, we can test some new creatives after a few days and drag and drop them in there. So that's our options. We've identified the options we could take. Oh, and also too, just decreasing spend. But for this particular client, they cannot pull back on spend because they have to spend this certain amount. So that's also another thing where like a lot of y'all are like, Nick, what happens if something doesn't work at 10K a day or $1,000 a day and you have to spend? Well, this is the perfect video for that. So we've identified our options now and we weighed out the options. So we can immediately throw an audience in. We can immediately throw a creative in. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, it has like a really big upside or downside. Now, let's say if we go to audience testing and creative testing, then it's a smaller downside and smaller upside. And the reason why is because audience testing right there, we'll spend the next few days testing a new audience and then boom. But again, they want an immediate fix. And sometimes you just don't get an immediate fix. Okay. So we're already running broad. We've literally every single audience we've tested at scale doesn't work. So we cut out that audience testing completely from just options, period. Like, hey, boom. So we can't do any audience testing. So we gotta go down straight to creative testing. And for this right here is, okay, we've identified that creative testing is one, creatives are 80% of the performance. It's the only reason why we've been able to spend 10K a day for this particular account, because we've identified new creatives that allow us to get to that level. Okay. They're spending 2K a day. Now they're 10K a day because we've launched new creatives that ultimately allowed them to spend that much. Okay. Now going to creative testing. Okay. Creative testing, one, it takes time. You gotta get an editor to edit the creatives and stuff like that. You get the copy, but you might even be using existing copies, so sometimes that's not an issue. And then also too, you have to put it testing for a few days before to see if they work or not at a low budget, so you don't blow your big budget. So, but when we find those new winning creatives, they're gonna give us the biggest impact in results than anything else on the table will. So instead of looking at the day to day, we need to pull back and look at, where do we want to be positioned next week? Where do we want to be positioned a month from today? Okay. Do we want to be positioned with constantly rotating, trying to flip these different audiences that just aren't working and taking old creative that's just outdated, doesn't convert anymore? Or do we want to just sit down, spend the next week and really focus our time on creating new assets that we can push out into the account that are going to have a highly strong correlation with our success that we want within the account? So that's exactly what we did. So, because we're looking at it from the further, and where do we want this account to be in 3 months from down the line? You know, so that's where a lot of people they find stuck at, because the ROAS is going down. So they immediately go try to like duplicate a CBO campaign. They go try doing bid cap. They go try doing ABO campaign. They go try doing a lookalike with every single lookalike audience put together. They go try doing this, that, dude, like everything besides the one that drives 80% of the performance. So you're going to spend all your time on what drives 20% of the performance, and we're going to spend all of our time that drives 80% of the performance. And guess what? We're going to be able to spend a lot more than you, because we can actually afford acquisition at scale, because we've identified highly strong creative assets. So the biggest thing here from a human psychology perspective is that when you're in a rush and, you know, when you're struggling with your ROAS and stuff like that, input new creatives. Okay. But from a human perspective, we're looking for those quick fixes. Okay. Quick fix is going to duplicate a campaign, try and bid cap, yada, yada. A not so quick fix, but a long-term fix that's going to keep this from happening over and over is sitting down and doubling down on creative production. Okay. So that's why we stress testing new creatives weekly, and have a video coming out sometime this week, or maybe even last week, where it's going to show you how many creatives you need to test per week. So ultimately what we did was, in this particular situation we were in, is that we pushed through new creatives, went to creative testing, and guess what? We found new winners, and those winners are still being tested right now. At the current day I'm filming this video, and those will go into our scaling campaign, and it will bring down our cost per lead, just like we did multiple times for that account already. So you really need to understand what drives the performance, identify your options, what's going to give you your biggest impact, and then lead with that one, so you're not wasting your time on all this foolishness inside of an account, essentially. Then when you go down to creative testing, that opens up a whole new world for you. Because then it's like, because like right now, like most of you guys that are still struggling and constantly back and forth from the ads manager, trying all these things in the ads manager. And look, don't get me wrong, I was in the same place as you guys. Like I was there for a year. I used to sit down in the ad account and day trade all day with testing hundreds of things, and I'd run the same creative for months. Then I sat down and realized, hey, the reason why I've been able to run this creative for the last few months, because I found a strong winning creative. So if I found a strong winning creative every single week, where the account would be, where would our success be, and things like that. So that's a big thing for us. So I was there. Then I realized what my pattern was. Then I basically went ahead and said, hey, I need to quit this pattern because it's not serving me for a long-term success as a marketer. Now I've identified that pattern, I've broken it, I've implemented systems and processes to quit being in that pattern, and now I'm focusing on what drives 80% of the results. So that's what you guys need to do. So when ROAS goes down, identify your options, weigh them out, each specific one, figure out which one's going to give the best results, and then focus on that with that forward-thinking mindset in your account, and you'll see better results with your Facebook ads. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're an e-com business owner doing at least 50K a month in revenue, make sure you click the link below to book a call with me and my team. We've generated over $10 million in online revenue for the e-com space just within the last 2 years. And we'd love to help you scale your brand to new heights. So book a call, we'll do a strategy together. You'll have the option to take that strategy and run with it, or you have the option to work with us if you choose. Now, if you're doing less than 50K a month, make sure you stay subscribed to the channel, watch all the videos. These videos at the end of the day are designed to make you more money, and ultimately you'll get to a point where you can work with us if you do choose, and that's what's the point of this video. So hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. New videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, my name is Nick Theriot. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.